Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we will dive into the fascinating topic that's essential for game development, creativity and constraints. In this video we will explore how game designers utilize limitations to spur innovation, push boundaries, and create unforgettable gaming experiences. So let's jump right into it. Before we get into constraints, let's appreciate the essence of creativity in video games. It's the backbone of game design, the creation of new worlds, characters, and mechanics that captivate players. Developers brainstorm ideas, fostering imaginative concepts that bridge the gap between fiction and reality. Just take a look at this dark yet vibrant world design of Ghostwire Tokyo. It's as if you can feel the presence of the aberrations when walking the streets of the barren megacity. Bethesda really did a good job in making an environment that has not been seen in a long while. Despite this gameplay being in the early stages of the game, the combat feels good. With every shot you take, there's a rich feedback in the visuals and the sounds. The faceless enemies goes hand in hand with the game's unsettling atmosphere. Furthermore, while it may seem counterintuitive, constraints serve as catalysts for creativity. Limitations, whether technical, budgetary, or time-related, force developers to think outside the box and find innovative solutions when given a blank canvas. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but constraints focus ideas, streamline development, and encourage resourcefulness. So, artistic constraints shape a game's visual identity. Designers often work with a defined art style, color palette, or even pixel resolution, adding a unique charm to the final product. Take games like High on Life or even Undertale as an example, where artistic constraints are integral to the experience. The characters were written in a very unique way which makes them pop and stand out compared to other games. Moving on to rules and the foundation of every game. Whether it's a board game or an open world RPG or a puzzle platformer, constraints on gameplay mechanics provide structure and purpose. Rules prevent chaos, ensuring players have clear objectives and challenges to overcome. Moving on to linear and non-linear narratives. Game designers face choices when shaping a game's narrative. Linear narratives have a clear and predefined path, while non-linear narratives, like those found in open-world games with stuff like side quests, offer players freedom of choice. Some other games even have multiple endings to earn, which can further enrich the narrative. Constraints in storytelling influence the player engagement and emotional connection to the game's world and characters. Now let's talk about the player-imposed constraints. So the gaming community often enables its own constraints in the form of speedrun challenges and self-imposed rules. These constraints showcase a player's creativity as they find innovative ways to beat games under specific conditions. A perfect example of this is Pokemon Nuzlocke that streamers and YouTubers enjoy due to their brutal difficulty. The modding communities are introduced to constraints by working with the base game's framework and mechanics. Modders push the boundaries of what's possible, creating entirely new game modes, levels, and even complete overhauls of the game. Take stuff like Fallout, Skyrim, and Minecraft. They have insane amounts of mods that change the behavior of NPCs, change the core elements, and make it feel like you're playing a completely different game. Creativity is subjective, but I still want to give you some examples that I think are very well made and have creativity in mind. High on Life is a great example of creativity. It's a game that features a super simple story. An alien cartel invades Earth and turns humans into drugs. However, the way the world is made is so vibrant and lively, the weapons talk to you, the player, and shatter the fourth wall very casually, and the dialogue is comical and whimsical, and there's no shooter like it. This is expected because the writers of the hit anime series Rick and Morty helped co-create the game. Justin Roiland did such a good job at creating whimsical characters that kept the player engaged until the end of the game. Now, in the case of Rainbow Six Siege, it's an ever-changing game with operators that have special abilities that make them extremely useful in some maps and modes, and almost useless in others. You also have to take into account other factors like team composition, communication, and of course skill level. This is a great twist on an otherwise extremely saturated genre that offers something different to gamers. However, Rainbow Six Siege, like other highly competitive shooters, has a crazy high skill ceiling which forces the player to get good, or get strangers from the internet to insult their entire bloodline within 12 seconds of the round ending, and I'm unfortunately speaking from experience. Regardless, the third game I want to talk about is Deathloop. The concept of the game is that every time you die, you go back in time. However, if you die twice in a single level, you have to restart it. After completing a certain number of these levels, you reset to the start of the game, where you remember what happened narrative-wise, but you lose all your items and your abilities. And the goal is to break the time loop. The gameplay features your fundamental shooter elements and some extra powers that can help you on your journey to break the loop. Furthermore, Deathloop takes this story and puts a linear level design to it, where there are distinct levels which are separated by doors that go to the next. It's like old linear design elements meeting new game mechanics. I would also highlight the main characters and their interactions with each other. They play off each other in such a way that is comical, but this contradicts with the very serious nature of the situation that you're in. Now, as technology evolves, so do the constraints that come with it. New hardware and software capabilities present fresh challenges and opportunities for innovation. Game developers must strike a balance between creativity and commercial viability. While constraints can lead to unique experiences, they must also appeal to a wide audience and generate revenue. Creativity and constraints in video games go hand in hand. Embracing limitations stimulates ingenuity and ultimately gives rise to some of the most iconic and memorable gaming experiences. As players, we should appreciate the effort developers put into these games and the challenges that they have to navigate to bring these awesome experiences. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with your fellow gamers. And as always, stay hydrated.